Stop by the Smokehouse at Super Saver and Russ's Market today to fulfill your search for real flavor.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
There's no place like McKinney's Irish Pub for St. Patrick's Day, so mark your calendars to join in on the fun for their 12th annual Street Festival. The party goes all weekend long, but starts on March 14th and 15th with tons of giveaways, great Irish food, and green beer. And it continues on Tuesday the 17th for actual St. Patrick's Day. Doors open for the bar at 9 a.m. on Saturday, 11 a.m. on Sunday, and 9 a.m. on Tuesday. And the street party starts at 2 p.m. all 3 days. Don't miss out on great music and great fun with no cover charge for St. Patrick's Day weekend at McKinney's Irish Pub, located at 8th and P.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
The stretch run is here. On March 18th, Love Nebraska hosts Love Atlanta at Baxter Arena with first serve set for 7 p.m., and every set carries postseason implications. Two explosive teams meet on one court, trading quick transition, heavy swings, and defensive plays that can shift the match in seconds. Playoff implications on the line as the season winds down. Don't just track the score, feel every rally live. Secure your seats at lovebneb.com/tickets.
At Schwezo Construction, safety isn't just a policy, it's a promise. Build with us. Work safe, go home proud. We're hiring skilled craftsmen, laborers, concrete workers, and steel erectors who value quality work and a team that has your back, on and off the job site. If you're ready to be part of a company where your safety and success come first, visit Schwezo.com. That's SCHWISOW.com and apply today. Schwezo Construction, 40 years strong and still building the future.
Your cure for spring fever is at the Husker Lawn and Leisure Show, March 13th through the 15th at the Sandhills Global Event Center. See unique home and landscape displays. Admission $8. Veterans free on Friday. Hours and info at HuskerLawnShow.com. Sponsored by South O Roofing.
Back Nine Golf in South Lincoln is the premier indoor golf experience in the state. The weather in the winter months is cold, windy, and as unpredictable as a tee shot on the 450-yard par 4. With top-of-the-line full-swing simulators and a PGA teaching professional, Back Nine Golf is there to help you improve your game and lower your score. Back Nine Golf is open to the public with 24/7 access for members. Learn about Back Nine's variety of memberships today and see the facility for yourself at 7501 South 15th Street in Lincoln, just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Back Nine Golf, your premier indoor golf and events destination.
Mike, I've been thinking our house could really use a makeover. How about new siding?
I've been thinking the same thing. Have you heard of James Hardy?
Yes! Sarah down the street had Roofing Service Company install James Hardy siding on their home, and they love it.
Roofing Service Company does have great reviews.
They took her through the design process and made everything super easy.
Roofing Service Company offers expert design and installation. Couple that with James Hardy's durable products and variety of colors, you and your family will love your exterior remodel. Just visit roofingservicecompany.com. That's roofingservicecompany.com.
Take your operation to the next level. Right now at Landmark Implement, take advantage of special financing on model year 2019 through 2025 John Deere tractors, sprayers, and combines. Take advantage of a 12-month fixed interest waiver, followed by John Deere Financial standard rates, or choose from multiple split rate offers with approved credit. Stop by your local Landmark Implement or visit us online at landmarkimp.com today and experience the Landmark difference.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program by building a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today. The stretch run is here. On March 18th, Love Nebraska hosts Love Atlanta at Baxter Arena with first serve set for 7 p.m., and every set carries postseason implications. Two explosive teams meet on one court, trading quick transition, heavy swings, and defensive plays that can shift the match in seconds. Playoff implications on the line as the season winds down. Don't just track the score, feel every rally live. Secure your seats at lovebneb.com/tickets.
Welcome to The Drive with Aaron Davis and Nick Sainert. Former football national champion, speaker, and author Aaron Davis.
Pain is a teacher if you use it. And the lessons in the carnage of pain sometimes are elusive. They hide, they're stealth. The work is finding the lessons through the pain. There's always a message in the mess. Depends on if we want to get dirty and look for it.
Nick Sainert.
Driving left side is Boyer, picks up his dribble, looking for some help, decides to go up strong with it, and the layup will rattle home. Jack Riley picks the pocket of B.J. Bradford up the floor to Jack Hostreiter. Watch out! Mafisi in the lane, kicks it out. 3-ball, Townsley, right wing, it's good!
It's on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome in. It is The Drive, 93.7, The Ticket, theticketfm.com. As you can hear, no AD today. Nick Sainert with you alongside Jay Foreman as it's an exciting day on the docket. A lot of stuff to get to on a Tuesday. The voice is still recovering. With that being said, my broadcast partner, Jay Foreman, is here. Jay, how's your voice holding up? Are you all good?
What do you think?
Okay. Sorry. How dare I ask a question there? Is this how we're going to be today?
Just listen to this, man. I mean, I'm a veteran.
Okay.
It's all about being efficient when you're talking.
Okay. So what should I do differently? Are you saying, because I know you have some thoughts.
Your extracurriculars. I'm not going to put them out on the yourself on business out on the street. Is what really hurt your voice.
Not last week. That was Wednesday.
Thursday. Friday.
I'm trying to think back to what I did on Thursday
and then
night.
Probably Saturday. Yeah, you did.
Saturday night was a step in the wrong direction.
And so was Wednesday.
Wednesday night was a step in the wrong direction.
And then Thursday.
I don't think I did anything Thursday.
On Friday for the assumption that you were going to get busy Saturday. It's 4 days, 3 of them you were out of control.
Okay. Well, thank you.
You need a bedtime. You know what we're going to do? We're going to have a bed check with you like we used to do back in college.
Did you ever speaking of bed checks, what was the punishment if guys weren't in their rooms for you guys?
I don't know.
You never tested it?
No.
You knew better.
Knew better. First of all, if you're serious about your game, you're not gonna have people in your room. You're not gonna be doing anything. Even, the only time I ever did anything is we snuck out on New Year's Eve, and when I was a red shirt.
Oh, so it didn't necessarily matter.
Yeah, we weren't playing.
I remember. Now I will say this: back, when I was in college, we'd have classes with guys, obviously, and every now and then coaches would just randomly pop in. And
we had class checks.
Well, and guys, coaches would just randomly pop in, and there were multiple times where dudes were not in class.
Oh yeah,
and it was like you could tell coaches were like licking their chops because they were like, all right, I'm ready to talk about this now.
Oh yeah, I remember being in like an accounting like 1 or 2, and it was a cold day, and it was during my redshirt year. It was second semester during spring. It must have been in between practices, so like a Wednesday or something. And it's cold, and you're there, and I'm half awake. 9 o'clock class, and I just happened to look. It's weird that you get that sense like. Look over your shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
No notebook out, just making sure I'm in class. Look over the shoulder, and in that little like rectangle, there's Coach Osborne.
So he would do the checks.
Oh yeah, every coach did checks.
Wow.
And now granted, we didn't have as big a staff as they do now. So yeah, and that's one day you don't want to miss.
I remember it because there was times where I think I not to call it names, like Luke McCaffrey was in my class, and it was one of our larger classes where it was like a couple hundred kids, like 200 kids, and we were in like a giant theater was where our class was. It was intro to theater class, and the coach yelled from the bottom to Luke and was like, "Where is?" and called out 3 or 4 guys, and Luke was like, "I don't know, coach," and they're like, "All right, well, we're about to find out," and then they just walked out. In front of everybody, just exposed.
Yeah, you're gonna, especially if your grades are slipping a little bit, or you're just known not to be at class, yeah, they'll dig into you a little bit.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I remember that vividly, and I feel comfortable and okay saying that because that staff's not here anymore. So none of those guys are here. But either way,
online class. No, we had dial-up back then, Nick.
I don't even know what that means.
The internet we had dial-up.
Okay,
it'd make the funny noises. Beep beep beep. Yeah, so there was no online classes for us.
Well, the online class was my basically entire college career. So because freshman year, COVID was my second semester of freshman year. So there's a timeline. As always, 402-464-5685. Honda Lincoln Hotline, Starter Heyman text line open for you guys the entire show. Jay's going to join me for the first hour. Then you got some business to handle. And so we are going to then be joined by Jake Bachhoven in hour number 2. Jay, while you're in, though, I want to talk spring football because there's so much being made right now about Nebraska football and the lack of buzz around the program. Right. And you and I have talked about it, I mean, endlessly off the air, but I think it's good to talk about it on the air of it might be some sort of I don't want to say positive, but I think it might be some sort of a step in the right direction to getting things in the way that Nebraska wants them. That, hey, the basketball program is doing what they're doing right now. The spring game is on the horizon, but nobody's really talking about it. Right. And I think if you ask a large portion of the fan base, they'd much rather be watching on March 27th or whatever day it is, March 27th, Nebraska basketball playing in the Sweet 16 than going and seeing a spring game. And that's okay. Right. That doesn't diminish the football program or how important it is or the fact that it's the number one main driver of Nebraska athletics.
Yeah, right now, I mean, it's a complete opposite as last year because, Nebraska was waiting because we didn't make the Big Ten tournament.
Yeah.
And everybody kind of knew that we were going to go to the Crown, but nobody really knew. And they almost had like a month off, right?
They had a month off, and yeah, you're right. And it was also like, I remember for me personally, and I'm not embarrassed to admit it, but I guess embarrassed, like to admit that when Nebraska was playing in the Crown, they had to play like Arizona State and I can't remember, what was it, UCF or whatever. Like it was one of those things of, all right, yeah, like I'll watch it, but how serious is this, right? Like we're a month removed from the season. We had a month in between. We don't really know much about this team anymore. We forget that it's still basketball season. There's no smooth transition into the postseason for when you're playing in the Crown.
Spring ball was a little bit later. And I think, Dylan, when he was here, had a big social media presence.
Yeah.
Then, Emmett did. And there were some other guys that, when they kind of came in, a lot of them were offensive guys, and they were out a lot. They were at every high school game for a while. So I think it's a totally different year and maybe different personality from Calandria. Definitely TJ is different, and Daniel Kalis. So that's part of it too. And also the basketball team is taking off, and so it's their season. And so, look, I mean, whether football is done it strategically or not, you got to, ride the basketball wave, and, baseball has started and stuff like that. So with spring ball being moved up and the basketball team obviously really taking off, it's a different year for the team. But I do agree with you, working while like in the darkness is probably the best thing this team needed. And hopefully it's a good omen for them to come, the season.
I think that also there's something to be said about just like being able to keep your head down and not have to worry about it. I think you mentioned it, right? And not to criticize Dylan and Emmett, but I mean, they were so far out there. I'm not sure that if with Calandria, and that's just because he's new, he hasn't been around a ton. I don't know if he were to just show up at a basketball game, would people recognize him right off the bat?
No, not really. No, unless
I mean you're wearing all the gear, I guess. Like, right.
I mean, if he came in there and did like Dylan was sitting in the front row, and of course, but if he just rolled up in there, probably not.
And I think that's an okay thing for right now. Like Nebraska's, you talk about it all the time. Like Nebraska's got to get back to the basics.
Yeah,
like to the details.
It needs to have an old school mentality and principles with new school methods.
I guess we're going to get to look actually tonight, or yes, I believe it's tonight. I need to look. We're going to get to watch practice for a couple of minutes in the very near future. I believe it's later this evening. I probably should look at this.
Well, this evening is in the very near future.
Yeah, Tuesday. Yep. So we're gonna actually get to see practice tonight around 5 p.m. For about 20 to 25 minutes. So and then obviously Wednesday we'll get to hear from Coach Rule and stuff. it's going to be media's first chance to really watch practice, and we haven't been there yet. Normally, full transparency. Normally, we get a couple of opportunities to watch practice.
Right.
Not that we always see a whole lot, but for the most part, I mean, this is going to be the first chance. I don't expect to be able to witness a whole lot of stuff, but from the visual of seeing how guys look,
Yeah.
right? Some of the new pieces, right? Whether it's Chambliss, whether it's McDougal, whether it's Calandria, right? Like, just to see how they look, it is a big part of it. And our first opportunity as media members to be able to go watch practice.
Yeah, you might. I mean, see a little something. I remember back. I don't know if it was when Dylan was here, but remember they'd have those open practices, and guys would be like, "Oh, in team takeoff, so and so went, 8 or 9.
Yep.
He looked better, or he was with the real 1s and 2s." So it's I think the spring ball is like a look see, and then the spring game is a celebration of winter conditioning, not in realistic, celebration, but you get to see what guys were able to do in the off season. See some of the new pieces, see that some of the guys that maybe been in the developmental stage, see where they're at. Obviously, everybody's going to probably be super high focused on the new offensive line and the quarterback position.
Mm-hmm.
And then the defense probably with the new pieces, but you're running a 4-2-5. But the sexy part is going to be the quarterback and quarterback room, and then the offensive line, just because those are the ones that they probably invested in the most.
Well, and that's the point, right? Like right now, it's so interesting because Jay, I'll ask you the same question I've asked a couple of other people. In your mind, what is their best? Is there a position group across this team that doesn't have questions right now?
No, but that's not a bad thing though.
Okay, go a little deeper on that then.
Because, well, I mean, when you think about it, no, I don't think it's a bad thing because everybody has to go through it together. Everybody has to get better. Like, you could be a really well-oiled unit, but you got a new defensive scheme on defense. So
sure,
they got feel really good about Marshall probably at corner, probably McDougal, probably Chambliss. Combination of Foster and Shavers as the other linebackers. So you feel good about it, guys, but holistically as a D-line, you want to see some guys develop probably inside, probably feel decent on the edges, and probably feel decent what you could probably come up with at nickel. So you have some questions. Offensive line probably is the most solid, but now you're just like, okay, can these guys get the continuity going? Probably
sure.
The answer is probably yes, but until you see it, it's always there's questions no matter what, with every team.
Well, I think back to even last year, at certain position groups, you knew who was going to be dudes in what room.
Yeah.
You knew who was going to step up. And sure, you brought up Andrew Marshall, right? But last year, we were able to look and say, okay, you know what? Dylan's obviously going to be the quarterback, which Calandria is going to be the quarterback to at least start things out for Nebraska. But it was running back wise, right? Which after a season like Emmett Johnson had, I think a lot of Husker fans are looking there going, okay, who's going to attempt to fill that void? And we don't really know.
Right.
We keep hearing about Quentin Ives. We keep hearing about Mekhi Nelson. But also in terms of the stuff that we've seen from them, there hasn't been a whole lot.
Yeah.
And so
there's naturals are going to be questions. Mosey looks good. I saw where he said he put on 15 pounds.
Yeah.
So it's but then also the fans can't be thinking that you're going to replicate a once in a lifetime year. I mean, Emmett struck gold, circumstantial and by production, by circumstances led to that season. Not taking anything away from him. If you're able to operate better, efficiently, offensive line, quarterback, throwing the ball, you don't have to run it as much, right? And so he still would have been a dominant player, but you wouldn't have had to have the volume, right? And so people are going to think Emmett's output is what the standard is at running back. That's not going to be the case because you feel like eventually you'll be able to get the downfield passing game, the efficient passing game, the mid-range passing game, and all that stuff going, and you won't have to lean on the running back to where it's solely centered around the running back or running backs. What you can do is have the same type of production by 2 or 3 guys, even if you have a lead dog.
Yeah, I just think that there's a lot of Husker fans and folks on the text line can correct me if I'm wrong. 4645685. I think they looked at the season all encompassing last year as a whole.
Yeah.
And they look at that and say, yeah, you know what? Nebraska probably doesn't win a couple of games without Emmett.
Sure.
And I think that we saw last year when Nebraska's staff valued the running back, or at least, utilized him to the volume that you're talking about. Like, sure, you can get, instead of 27 carries with Emmett Johnson, you can have 14 with Quentin or 17 with Quentin and 12 with Mikhail or whatever the split is. But also, I think Husker fans can be a little scarred by that, because that's been the case between Amir Abdullah 2014 and Emmett Johnson 2025. And Nebraska's running game conventionally just hasn't been there. It's been the quarterback.
Yeah, and so it's a different avenue. And so, with Calandria, he brings a little bit of different aspect as far as ability to create out of the pocket off schedule plays. So that kind of plays into your running a game. Now, you could look at Adrian and him and his ability to pass out of the pocket. Obviously, if he's able to be efficient with that and they're able to adjust with it, you don't have to lean on the running back as much. But you like to think that you invest in the offensive line, you'll be able to do a lot more, right? And so, whatever we've heard, it seems like they'll be able to, and they got to continue to improve. And so, there's questions around everywhere. There's questions, even though the same guys are coming back in the specialist room, right? Besides Williams going to Michigan State,
sure.
There's questions of whether the special teams will take a dip or not. Like, you have to look at last year, leave it last year, and not show up expecting the same thing, but also be realistic where you're at. The offense can get better by being better and more efficient on first and second down passing game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So then, therefore, you're running the ball more efficiently, and you're keeping the ball. Then your defense is better because the defense is off the field. And you get what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, and also the personality. I mean, not the personalities, but the way guys play is different than like you look at the quarterback's the easiest one. Calandria is doing things that Dylan just wasn't able to do, and Dylan we might look back in 2 years and go, and Dylan was able to do things that Calandria can't do.
Right, and that's fine.
So you got to mold it to whatever those dudes are doing.
Yeah, and they're going to take on the personality of Calandria and see where they go from there. It's essentially a new team with a lot of same pieces, but when you have a new coordinator, essentially maybe a new coordinator and a quarterback, even though Dana's been here, this is a new quarterback that's here that he hasn't coached like before.
Yeah,
and some receivers and stuff. You're bringing in some veterans. They got some young guys that are coming along, so they all got to develop at the same pace.
That's one area that I was surprised to see them. I don't know if I should say go into the portal and get somebody. The wide receiver room is an area and a room for me that I'm really excited about some of their young guys. And I hope that, number one, that they're getting developed and that they're going to see the field more often than not. The guys like Quinn Clark, the guys like the Jeremiah Jones, who was a freshman last year and redshirted, obviously. Like there's a lot of young guys in that room, and I know I'm leaving some out there that
Mims,
Cortez Mills and stuff. Like I look at this Husker football wide receiver room and I go, that's one of the more impressive and intriguing rooms on this team, not just offense, but on this team.
Yeah.
And you hope that now Nebraska, as they go with Calandria, has a guy that can deliver the mail, because we know that if you picked pass or run for Dylan, it was leaning pass was the better of the two.
Right.
I don't know if we know which one is better for Calandria right now.
It gives you a little bit of both. I think the ability to play off schedule then will open up more stuff for Barney to be able to get out in space and hopefully really allow him to show, some of the flashes he did his freshman year. You think about Keelan Smith. You think about, obviously, Hunter, and then obviously Gilmer coming over there. You like along with the guys that you mentioned, you like the depth there. You got older guys, you got middle range guys, and then you got young guys that are coming along. So the depth is there, and they played a lot of guys last year. So, I think the standard's starting to be set there, and they'll do some good things.
402-464-5685, Honda Lincoln Hotline, starter aim and text line open for you guys. The entire show, once again, Jay will join me for the 9 o'clock hour for a large portion of the 9 o'clock hour. Then Jake Bakoven will join it for hour 10 of the show. We were going to have a guest from Husker basketball, unable to make that one work, though, just because of scheduling, and they got a pretty big week ahead of them. And so changing schedules around just a little bit here on the show today. But as always, 464-5685, the Honda Lincoln Hotline, starter Heyman text line are open for you guys. We'll be right back. Nick Sander, Jay Foreman, no AD today. It's The Drive on 93.7 The Ticket.
Nutrition Authority presents Fusion 30, an ultra premium protein ideal for anyone wanting to look, feel, and perform their best. Fusion 30 can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Stop in today for a free sample, visit with a certified nutritionist, and get better than internet pricing. For store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement.
The stretch run is here. On March 18th, Love Nebraska hosts Love Atlanta at Baxter Arena with first serve set for 7 p.m., and every set carries postseason implications. Two explosive teams meet on one court, trading quick transition, heavy swings, and defensive plays that can shift the match in seconds. Playoff implications on the line as the season winds down. Don't just track the score, feel every rally live. Secure your seats at lovebneb.com/tickets.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Big value and big flavor meet at Wings and Rings thanks to the all-new delicious Duo Combo. This is the one you've been waiting for. Get one half-sized appetizer and 2 entrees with a side for only $19.99. Bring a friend for the best deal in town on any day of the week, during game time, or whenever the heck you want. Their made-to-order wings and chicken sandwiches are waiting for you at their 68th and O and 40th and Old Cheney locations. Stop by Wings and Rings and celebrate every day with the best meal deal in town.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and right now at Koppel, we are offering big discounts on all of our inventory. 2026 GMC Terrains are leasing at $279 per month or buy for $27,690. 2026 Canyon is leasing for $269 or buy for $40,980. Also right now, all new Equinox EVs and all half-ton trucks are starting at $12,000 off MSRP. These are just a few examples of some of the aggressive pricing going on right now at Koppel. Please stop on in or check us out at koppelcars.com. All leases with $2,500 down with a roof credit.
In a world where Wi-Fi battles rage and bandwidth is never enough, one family dares to connect it all. Work from home, influence all day, stream all night, and game to win. Deadlines, downloads, and dance-offs, all happening under one roof, flawlessly. Can your internet provider do that? Fiber fuel your household at allofiber.com/all-in.
Mike, I've been thinking our house could really use a makeover. How about new siding?
I've been thinking the same thing. Have you heard of James Hardy?
Yes. Sarah down the street had Roofing Service Company install James Hardy siding on their home, and they love it.
Roofing Service Company does have great reviews.
They took her through the design process and made everything super easy.
Roofing Service Company offers expert design and installation. Couple that with James Hardy's durable products and variety of colors, you and your family will love your exterior remodel. Just visit roofingservicecompany.com. That's roofingservicecompany.com.
Your cure for spring fever is at the Husker Lawn and Leisure Show, March 13th through the 15th at the Sandhills Global Event Center. See unique home and landscape displays. Admission $8. Veterans free on Friday. Hours and info at huskerlawnshow.com. Sponsored by South O Roofing.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program by building a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Take your operation to the next level. Right now at Landmark Implement, take advantage of special financing on model year 2019 through 2025 John Deere tractors, sprayers, and combines. Take advantage of a 12-month fixed interest waiver, followed by John Deere Financial standard rates, or choose from multiple split rate offers with approved credit. Stop by your local Landmark Implement or visit us online at landmarkimp.com today and experience the Landmark difference.
Mike, I've been thinking our house could really use a makeover. How about new siding?
I've been thinking the same thing. Have you heard of James Hardy?
Yes! Sarah down the street had Roofing Service Company install James Hardy siding on their home, and they love it.
Roofing Service Company does have great reviews.
They took her through the design process and made everything super easy.
Roofing Service Company offers expert design and installation. Couple that with James Hardy's durable products and variety of colors, you and your family will love your exterior remodel. Just visit roofingservicecompany.com. That's roofingservicecompany.com.
Nutrition Authority invites you to check out the top-selling Epic Effects. Epic Effects is designed to help blast body fat, curb cravings, and provide smooth energy so you can cruise through the day. Home of free samples and better than internet pricing, Epic Effects can only be found in Nutrition Authority. For store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
All right, Lincoln, if you're a diesel technician who's ready to earn up to $40 an hour and you're tired of working nights and weekends, listen up. Inland Truck Parts and Service is hiring experienced diesel technicians right here in Lincoln, and they're offering what every hardworking tech wants. Monday through Friday hours, no nights, no weekends, and paid training on advanced diesel technology. With 37 locations across 12 states, career advancement opportunities are endless. Start building towards your future and apply today at inlandtruck.com. That's inlandtruck.com. Or text APPLY to 785-369-1320.
There's no place like McKinney's Irish Pub for St. Patrick's Day, so mark your calendars to join in on the fun for their 12th annual street festival. The party goes all weekend long, but starts on March 14th and 15th with tons of giveaways, great Irish food, and green beer. And it continues on Tuesday the 17th for actual St. Patrick's Day. Doors open for the bar at 9 a.m. on Saturday, 11 a.m. on Sunday, and 9 a.m. on Tuesday. And the street party starts at 2 p.m. all 3 days. Don't miss out on great music and great fun with no cover charge for St. Patrick's Day weekend at McKinney's Irish Pub, located at 8th and P.
Now back to the drive with Aaron Davis and Nick Sainert on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Well, welcome back into the show, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick Sainert, Jay Foreman alongside AD. We'll be back next week as Jay, you and I will be taking on state basketball starting tomorrow. Make sure you rest your voice today, Jay. I might need you to step in on play-by-play. Are you
a little slam bam alakazam?
They're just like that.
Yeah.
No, it is going to be a great tournament. We're excited. Obviously, Class A's got a little bit of Lincoln flavor in it. Lincoln High hasn't been in for a while. And so we're excited for that one. And so we start that tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Myself, Jay Foreman involved, obviously, Austin Norman, Tristan Gomez, the whole crew. We appreciate them for everything that they do during state basketball hoops. We had a great girls tournament last week, right? And this week we expected. And how about Class A? Let's talk real quick just about a couple of the Class A teams from the capital city. Yeah. Lincoln High, Richie Ross gets them back in. They got a tough test against number 1 Omaha West Side tomorrow.
Right. But
then also Lincoln Southwest is in the tournament as well.
Yeah, I mean, Lincoln High is tremendously talented. You know, they had an up and down year. I don't even want to call it up and down, but, you know, they had some pieces they had to get back, had a, little sickness through their team and a couple injuries. And then once they got going, they beat Papio South, which I thought, well, first of all, they lost by 3 to Southwest. Papio South, they beat. Doubled down. Then they beat, a Kearney team in playoffs, and then went up to Creighton Prep, and they had a good matchup against them. And I think their size, speed, and quickness gave Creighton Prep a lot of problems, and they just kept playing. And now they get the West Side, so I think they're dangerous because West Side obviously is easily the most talented. They look like a college team out there.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're good.
6'1", 6'5", 6'6", 6'7", 6'10", and well coached, and they got some guys coming off the bench with depth. So. But they can be beat. Anybody can be beat. They lost 4 times already this year, and there is a recipe to it. And if you come into the tournament down here, sometimes more pressure is on the number 1 seed versus number 8.
Well, and then when you look at Lincoln Southwest, I mean, they have such good guard play more times than not with Micaiah and Isaiah Sanders that we saw that last week, and we've seen that in our previous state tournaments. Is just the fact of if you have guards that can control the pace, run the offense, and the crisp passing matters so much at this, you have such a much better chance to win.
Yeah, and they got Dakari Wilson too.
Yeah.
And he is ruthless as far as a dagger in your heart, man. The bigger moments and the bigger games he plays excellent in, and they all play well together and off of each other. And Coach Boz created a system that really plays to their strengths. Imagine that.
Right.
He doesn't look at, I guess, their lack of size as a negative. He looks at it as a positive. And so he plays the way that, to their strengths, and they got some problems. They got Kobe Kerr in the middle, who's, 6'3" or something, and he's a dog, and he really does his job where he gets the boards and he can beat you down the court so he can finish around the rim. So it's constant pressure on both sides of the court, and they turn you over.
Yeah.
They make you run your offense, uncomfortably. And what happens is sometimes coach, which is the weirdest thing, especially around here, coaches come in there and try to do the same thing like they do. You can't. You're not gonna win in a track meet against them. And they're low turnovers, high assist to turnover ratio, and they pass it well. They're in a team rebound, and the Twins and Dakari, all of them being like 5'10" or whatever, but they have enough elevation and lift, and they're physical enough they can board. And so that's where they cause people problems.
That's what we saw last week, and naturally there might be more turnovers on the girls' side of things than on the boys' side, but that's where we saw teams game after game get killed. Was high turnover numbers last week. So obviously as you approach this week in the stage for some of these teams, keeping those turnover numbers down is crucial. Staying on the basketball floor, let's talk Husker hoops for a second, because I want to get your thoughts on this. I mean, we know it now, right? Nebraska, it's so remarkable, Jay, just saying it out loud over and over, and it never gets old to kind of talk about it, that, I mean, this is a team that missed the conference tournament last year. Now, granted, at the top, 14 teams made it last year. So, I mean, this is a team that finished outside the top 14 last year, and now here they are, number 2 in the seedings. It's just, number one, shocking and crazy to continue talking about it. Number 2, this is a massive week. Like, Nebraska has this benefit, though, that really is unfamiliar to them. That they're going to get to watch potentially their teams that they could be playing on Friday play tomorrow in Northwestern and Penn State, I believe. And then it's like going on forward to Purdue, and then, in Indiana, who's there. Like, these are teams, yes, obviously Nebraska's seen this season, but ultimately to see them on this stage and recent, like, this is a benefit that Nebraska as a program has never had.
Yeah, and look, I imagine the last time is when they won the Big 8 or whatever, and that was years and years ago. And the flip or the turnaround is tremendous. And whether you had 14 teams or 18 teams in the Big Ten tournament, you missed it. And I think maybe Nebraska came down and they lost to Iowa or something like that, right?
Well, they lost to Iowa at home last year.
And that was the pivotal game,
yeah,
right?
It was.
You get a little bit of get back there, obviously stubbing your toe earlier. And now you're in the driver's seat. So how do you handle that? That's the biggest thing. We kind of went through it when you finally got that Illinois victory, and people are like, okay, you're legit when you won at Illinois. So then you had to deal with being the hunted versus the hunter, right? So hopefully now they know, okay, what's at stake. Got a tremendous opportunity. You're probably going to play, the winner, Purdue, and whoever. And whoever comes out of that, you match up well. You got to be well rested. You got to be focused. You know how people are going to be playing against you from here on out, right?
Yeah.
In the Big Ten, but 1 or 2 victories in this tournament, then you're really, and then you get some help. You really turn college basketball upside down, because at no point in time do people think, okay, Nebraska, okay, it's a nice little story if we were to have been the 7-8 seed.
Yeah.
Okay, now they really worked hard to get to the 3-4 seed. You make some noise, that whole 2 line is going to get reshuffled.
Well, I mean, Jay, like I was having a conversation with one of our mutual friends last night regarding, like, if this thing goes chalk, Nebraska's playing Michigan in the Big Ten championship on Sunday.
Yeah.
Now the likelihood of it going chalk throughout the entire tournament is slim, right? But if we're just playing the hypothetical, numbers game, 1 seed versus 2 seed, You don't have to play Michigan, which seems like the one team that scares everybody the most, rightfully so, in this conference. You won't have to play them until the very end, until the Big Ten championship. I think we as Husker fans, you have to, try to put it in your mind, the possibility, because it is a realistic possibility that on Sunday morning we all wake up to watch Nebraska basketball get ready to play in the Big Ten championship, and then guess what? Selection Sunday that night. Sunday could be
epic.
Potentially the biggest day in Nebraska basketball history.
Oh yeah, for sure, and especially in modern day time, considering that where Nebraska's been, in recent history, last 10 years. Obviously, you had a couple tournament bursts, but
sure.
Right now, coming into the season, nobody envisioned Nebraska even being in the top 25, maybe in top 30.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and it was funny. I saw somebody, and I apologize. I doubt they're listening, but some Twitter account yesterday reposted a tweet from John Rothstein from back in December when Nebraska beat it was Oklahoma, I believe, at the Pentagon, or maybe it was the neutral site.
Oklahoma was at the Pentagon.
Yeah, Oklahoma was at the Pentagon. I can't remember when he tweeted it after. It was right before Creighton. And it was like
Kansas State.
Yeah, Kansas State, and that whole tournament there, down at the T-Mobile Center. But he tweeted out, he's like, Nebraska's looking like a potential bubble team again. That's not the case.
Yeah.
Like Nebraska's, don't forget, like Nebraska had an NCAA tournament berth locked up by middle of January. It's been such a crazy and historical year. It's been so much fun to watch. But ultimately, it's, once again, I was thinking about that last night as, Nebraska, let's just say once again, it goes chalk. They're going to play the 7 seed Purdue against, at the Big Ten tournament. I would imagine there's a decent Nebraska basketball contingent going to Chicago. They're going to continue to show up for this thing. And it feels like, Nebraska is pretty set, unless they improve the seed, pretty set on Oklahoma City being their destination for the NCAA tournament. Like, this is setting up ideally for Nebraska fans, Nebraska supporters to be able to go and truly make a difference in all of this.
Yeah, and the committee, they know that as well.
Oh, 100%.
But yeah, I expect a big contingent, rolling up 80 heading towards Chicago.
Yeah.
For Nebraska to support their team, and it's not going to change. And that's a good thing for the program, where you get behind it. And Fred's built it his way. It's kind of been the hard way, and he had. I always go back to when, I call it the rubber meets the road moment, and Trev was the AD at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Trev said that Fred presented a plan. If you know Fred, I'm not by no means are we best friends, but I know of him and talk to him when I see him, and know what he's built like, and because I had a high school teammate that played with him and stuff like that, so I know a little bit more about him than an average person. When he has a plan and he executed the plan, that's a dude that you know that you can roll with, because it takes in this day and age when coaches have, overblown egos or whatever, for him to recognize what he needs to do and and identify it, change a little bit in the coaching staff. He gets Coach Nate, along with Ernie, had very minimal turnover, and say, okay, we're going to really identify what we need to be a Nebraska Cornhusker basketball player in the Big Ten. Like that.
Yeah.
And changed, and it's been off to the races ever since.
Yeah, and rightfully so. Extended through 2032. I know
break bread, Fred.
Yeah, some fans I know were concerned, right? Like, obviously, the buyout for Fred Hoiberg, I think after, this year is $8 million, which
break bread.
In the grand scheme of it, if you're a basketball school, isn't necessarily that much, but I truly believe, like, Fred wants to be here.
Break bread.
Yeah, there you go.
Break bread, Fred. That's his new name. We're gonna break bread, Fred.
Do we?
You picking up the tab, homie?
Have we? Yeah, right. Have we grown for a? Excuse me. How do I say this? Have we, as Nebraska supporters, I suppose, have we started to maybe realize more times than not, like, what Fred brings to the table this season?
You should. If you haven't recognized by now, then you don't want to. But yeah, I think people start to appreciate what he's bringing to the table. I think his experience as a high level athlete and working his way up through the college ranks himself, pros, and then obviously working in the front office, with different NBA teams in the respect. I think he's seen a lot.
I think, I mean,
and he loves the coach.
We give a lot of credit to Fred, rightfully so, and Nate Lenzer. I look at a lot of those other coaches as well as we go to break. I mean, we don't talk about Kurt Joseph often, like the strength and conditioning coach, who came from the Timberwolves organization, right? Like these are, you talked about Ernie Ziegler. I mean, we bring in, you know, Pat Monahan is now on staff after Adam Howard leaves last year to go to NC State to join Will Wade, who that situation's not off to the greatest of starts down in Raleigh. So it's one of those things of whenever something that could potentially throw it off the tracks for a short amount of time, Fred Hoiberg's been able to kind of put it back on.
Yeah, and first of all, he's a good dude, right? And we talked about the high school teams. You know, both of those coaches, Bond and Ross, they treat your guys good. They do what's best, you know, for the program, but also the players. Fred does the same. So you're able to go into your black book. And plus, he's been in the business for so long, and he's have so many relationships.
Yeah.
You know, he's not always looking for the next best thing, but if somebody wants to move on, he always has a couple guys he can call on.
There you go. Jay, appreciate it as always. You got to get out of here. Bach will join me in the 10 o'clock hour, but when we come back, we're going to give away some gift cards. We got some stuff to do, got some exciting days coming up, and you need a place to eat. We'll do that when we come back here on the Drive 93.7 The Ticket.
There's no place like McKinney's Irish Pub for St. Patrick's Day, so mark your calendars to join in on the fun for their 12th annual street festival. The party goes all weekend long, but starts on March 14th and 15th with tons of giveaways, great Irish food, and green beer. And it continues on Tuesday the 17th for actual St. Patrick's Day. Doors open for the bar at 9 a.m. on Saturday, 11 a.m. on Sunday, and 9 a.m. on Tuesday. And the street party starts at 2 p.m. all 3 days. Don't miss out on great music and great fun with no cover charge for St. Patrick's Day weekend at McKinney's Irish Pub, located at 8th and P.
In a world where Wi-Fi battles rage and bandwidth is never enough, one family dares to connect it all. Work from home, influence all day, stream all night, and game to win. Deadlines, downloads, and dance-offs, all happening under one roof, flawlessly. Can your internet provider do that? Fiber fuel your household at allofiber.com/all-in.
Mike, I've been thinking our house could really use a makeover. How about new siding?
I've been thinking the same thing. Have you heard of James Hardy?
Yes. Sarah down the street had Roofing Service Company install James Hardy siding on their home, and they love it.
Roofing Service Company does have great reviews.
They took her through the design process and made everything super easy.
Roofing Service Company offers expert design and installation. Couple that with James Hardy's durable products and variety of colors, you and your family will love your exterior remodel. Just visit roofingservicecompany.com. That's roofingservicecompany.com.
Nutrition Authority invites you to check out the top-selling Epic Effects. Epic Effects is designed to help blast body fat, curb cravings, and provide smooth energy so you can cruise through the day. Home of free samples and better than internet pricing, Epic Effects can only be found in Nutrition Authority. For store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
Rick Heyman here from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sartor Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at sartorheyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
Spring storms happen, but LES line workers are ready. While they're out in the weather, you can stay inside and still lend a hand by reporting your outage at les.com/report.
Noticing more dust at home? It may be time for duct cleaning from Bryant. Breathe easy and healthy. Call 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Make your next event unforgettable with Grazing Gouda, your local artists and experts in charcuterie and grazed tables. From boardrooms to ballrooms, they turn gatherings into experiences with stunning spreads of artesian cheeses, cured meats, fresh fruits, and gourmet bites. Perfect for corporate luncheons, weddings, parties, or any celebration that deserves a wow moment. They handle the details. You take the compliments. Book your Graze Table today at grazingouda.com. Grazing Gouda, because every event deserves to be savored.
For remote starters, audio upgrades, and more, there's only one place to go. Auto Sounds of Lincoln at 48th and O.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Concrete Industries has immediate job openings for precast production laborers and maintenance technicians. Concrete Industries offers great pay, health benefits, 401k, a wellness program, holidays, and paid time off. Apply today to earn a starting pay of $21.50 per hour plus a $1,500 hiring bonus. Concrete Industries is hiring all experience levels and offers on-the-job training. Start your career today as a precast production laborer or maintenance technician. Visit concreteindustries.com.
Tune in to Outside the Box from 4 to 5 p.m. for everything you need to know about the Lincoln Stars. Join head coach Rocky Russo and play-by-play voice Alex Fern as they sit down with special player guests to tell the story of the Lincoln Stars and give you all the news and notes you need from around the USHL. That's Outside the Box with the Lincoln Stars on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see mainly sunny skies and it will be breezy. In the afternoon, high around 65. Tonight, a chance of rain showers, otherwise partly cloudy, a low around 36. And tomorrow, we'll see decreasing clouds throughout the day. It'll be breezy. In the afternoon, high near 53. I'm meteorologist Kyle Plucker from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize to participate in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contests, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Tomorrow is about the lessons we learn today. A farmer's market teaches us that community is grown together. Kids laughing shows us how joy is easy. And coffee on the porch reminds us to savor every moment. These are the lessons that shape a tomorrow we all share. One filled with trust, good company, and wide open dreams. That's the way banking should be. And that's Pinnacle Bank. Member FDIC.
Now back to The Drive with Aaron Davis and Nick Sainert on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into The Drive, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Major thanks to Jay Foreman for sitting down with me for a few minutes there for the first 45 minutes of the show. Real quick segment here as we will then turn the page to the 10 o'clock hour, and Jake Bachhoven will join a heavy basketball conversation in the 10 o'clock hour as Nebraska gets ready. It's the waiting game now as Nebraska basketball gets ready to play on Friday. The Big Ten basketball tournament will start this week, obviously in Chicago. The bottom four teams in the bracket will play first. One of the greatest benefits about having that beautiful triple bye is that Nebraska does not have to play until Friday. We will obviously have boots on the ground in Chicago. Jake Sorensen will be out there in Chicago for the Big Ten basketball tournament, and so we're excited for that and excited for the NCAA tournament on the horizon as well, because just a lot of positive things going on around Nebraska men's basketball's program. Sunday's going to be a big day. Now, Jay and I kind of briefly mentioned it in the last segment that Sunday with, potential
Nebraska basketball playing in the conference championship, as well as the Selection Sunday show. It's going to be a massive day, and I'm going to let you know. We'll give away gift cards here in a few minutes, potentially in the first segment of the 10 o'clock hour, because I need to get a trivia question put together. But what I was going to say is, if you want a spot to watch all of this unfold, Liquid Asset Sports Bar, 27th and Yankee Hill, just off of 27th and Yankee Hill. Great spot, incredible place. That's probably where I'll be winding down post-state basketball. So feel free to stop on by and enjoy the Big Ten basketball championship game. Hopefully Nebraska's in it, and the atmosphere is incredible. And then obviously the selection show. They told me last night that they're going to be throwing a whole party for the selection show on Sunday. And so as we celebrate Nebraska hearing their name called, there's no stress on Sunday night. How great is this going to be? Zero stress on Sunday night to hear Nebraska's name called in the NCAA tournament selections show on Sunday night. So once again, huge thanks and shout out to our friends at Liquid Asset Sports Bar over there just off of 27th and Yankee Hill Road. Make sure you check out their weekly specials. They got plenty of beers on tap. And in my opinion, some of the coldest beer in the state. So they've put a lot of work into it, a lot of effort, a lot of time, energy into it as well. And it's one of the better spots in the capital city. So with that being said, there's a lot to talk about in the 10 o'clock hour. As I talk to Bach, we definitely want to get into the conversation with Nebraska basketball, where what's the ideal scenario? How much does Purdue, if we were to run this thing chalk, how much does that matchup scare you, knowing what happened in Lincoln? How much do you worry about how Nebraska's playing currently, right? Like Jay talked about it in the last segment, was, at the start of the season, Nebraska kind of blew up and they started undefeated, if you will. But then on top of that is they were able to knock off teams and Illinois on the road and Michigan State at home. And then I wouldn't say that Nebraska went down in a valley, but it was more so of, there was just a lull where it was like, okay, you know what? You don't feel like Nebraska's playing their best basketball right now, but as long as they're playing it in March, then that's okay. And so I think my question for you guys and for Bach is going to be, do you feel like Nebraska is playing their best basketball right now? And that's where we'll start in the 10 o'clock hour here in the next couple of minutes. Trey asked on the text line that he won a gift card last week. Are you still able to pick it up? Absolutely. You have 30 days after you win a prize to pick it up from our station. So Frank says on the text line also, he goes, what the hell does this mean? Talk this thing chalk. Well, chalk basically means that all the higher seeds win. Like if we were to just predict it and say, all right, this tournament's going to go chalk, then the 1 seed will be in the championship. The 2 seed will be in the championship. The 2 seed's going to beat the 7 seed just because they're the higher seed. Now, I'm very, very upfront with that is not going to happen. Like, more than likely, like there's a very good chance that Penn State beats Northwestern in game 1 and Penn State's the lower seed against Northwestern. Like that's a very, very real and legit possibility. So whatever it is, we'll see what happens. Nonetheless, 402-464-5685 Honda Lincoln Hotline, the Starter Heyman text line open for you. We'll step aside. Jake Bachhoven joins me right after this on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
All right, Lincoln, if you're a diesel technician who's ready to earn up to $40 an hour and you're tired of working nights and weekends, listen up. Inland Truck Parts and Service is hiring experienced diesel technicians right here in Lincoln, and they're offering what every hardworking tech wants. Monday through Friday hours, no nights, no weekends, and paid training on advanced diesel technology. With 37 locations across 12 states, career advancement opportunities are endless. Start building towards your future and apply today at inlandtruck.com. That's inlandtruck.com. Or text APPLY to 785-369-1320.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see mainly sunny skies and it will be breezy. In the afternoon, high around 65. Tonight, a chance of rain showers, otherwise partly cloudy, a low around 36. And tomorrow, we'll see decreasing clouds throughout the day. It'll be breezy. In the afternoon, high near 53. I'm meteorologist Kyle Pucker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Tomorrow is about the lessons we learn today. A farmer's market teaches us that community is grown together. Kids laughing shows us how joy is easy. And coffee on the porch reminds us to savor every moment. These are the lessons that shape a tomorrow we all share. One filled with trust, good company, and wide open dreams. That's the way banking should be. And that's Pinnacle Bank. Member FDIC.
Make your next event unforgettable with Grazing Gouda, your local artists and experts in charcuterie and grazed tables. From boardrooms to ballrooms, they turn gatherings into experiences with stunning spreads of artesian cheeses, cured meats, fresh fruits, and gourmet bites. Perfect for corporate luncheons, weddings, parties, or any celebration that deserves a wow moment. They handle the details. You take the compliments. Book your graze table today at GrazingGouda.com. Grazing Gouda, because every event deserves to be savored.
Noticing more dust at home? It may be time for duct cleaning from Bryant. Breathe easy and healthy. Call 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Spring storms happen, but LES line workers are ready. While they're out in the weather, you can stay inside and still lend a hand by reporting your outage at les.com/report.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
At Schwezo Construction, safety isn't just a policy, it's a promise. Build with us. Work safe, go home proud. We're hiring skilled craftsmen, laborers, concrete workers, and steel erectors who value quality work and a team that has your back, on and off the job site. If you're ready to be part of a company where your safety and success come first, visit Schwezo.com. That's SCHWISOW.com and apply today. Schwezo Construction, 40 years strong and still building the future.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC. And right now at Koppel, we are offering big discounts on all of our inventory. 2026 GMC Terrains are leasing at $279 per month or buy for $27,690. 2026 Canyon is leasing for $269 or buy for $40,980. Also right now, all new Equinox EVs and all half-ton trucks are starting at $12,000 off MSRP. These are just a few examples of some of the aggressive pricing going on right now at Koppel. Please stop on in or check us out at KoppelCars.com. All leases with $2,500 down and with a roof credit.
There's no place like McKinney's Irish Pub for St. Patrick's Day, so mark your calendars to join in on the fun for their 12th annual street festival. The party goes all weekend long, but starts on March 14th and 15th with tons of giveaways, great Irish food, and green beer. And it continues on Tuesday the 17th for actual St. Patrick's Day. Doors open for the bar at 9 a.m. on Saturday, 11 a.m. on Sunday, and 9 a.m. on Tuesday. And the street party starts at 2 p.m. all 3 days. Don't miss out on great music and great fun with no cover charge for St. Patrick's Day weekend at McKinney's Irish Pub, located at 8th and P.
Tune in to Outside the Box from 4 to 5 p.m. for everything you need to know about the Lincoln Stars. Join head coach Rocky Russo and play-by-play voice Alex Byrne as they sit down with special player guests to tell the story of the Lincoln Stars and give you all the news and notes you need from around the USHL. That's Outside the Box with the Lincoln Stars on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome to The Drive with Aaron Davis and Nick Sainert. former football national champion, speaker, and author Aaron Davis.
Pain is a teacher if you use it. And the lessons in the carnage of pain sometimes are elusive. They hide, they're stealth. The work is finding the lessons through the pain. There's always a message in the mess. Depends on if we want to get dirty and look for it.
Nick Sainert, driving left side, is Boyer picks up his dribble, looking for some help, decides to go up strong with it, and the layup will rattle home. Jack Riley picks the pocket of BJ Bradford up the floor to Jack Hostrider. Watch out! Mafisi in the lane, kicks it out. 3-ball, Townsley, right wing, it's good.
It's on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into the Drive 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick Sainert with you, no AD. We will be back to normal shows and show times next Monday. Today, our last day of regularly scheduled 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. programming, as we'll turn to state boys basketball later on this week, as well as we will still have plenty of Nebraska basketball Big Ten tournament coverage. Jake Sorensen will be making his way out to the Windy City and covering things out there for us for Nebraska basketball this week, and then obviously NCAA tournament as well. So with all that being said, 402-464-5685 Honda Lincoln Hotline, the Starter Heyman text line open for you guys the entire rest of the show, as well as the Starter Heyman Jewelers live video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Allo Cable channel 961. You can always reach out to us on any of those platforms as well. Thanks to Jay Foreman for joining me in hour number 1. Joining me in hour number 2 is Jake Bachhoven. Bach, what's up?
Not too much. How are you doing?
I'm good. It's an exciting week, Bach.
It is a very exciting week, as you know, and you're going to be calling a lot of those games. Made tournament time. I mean, obviously it was last week with Girls State as well, but one of my favorite times of the year for sure. It's unfortunate. It's weird how we kind of really enjoy seasons coming to an end in tears and all that sort of stuff. But obviously everybody in chase of a championship and different championships on the line at different levels. And certainly for Nebraska basketball in unfamiliar territory for us Husker fans is they can chase championships too here.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I was phrasing to Jay a couple of minutes ago is we are in such a different conversation right now than what we are more accustomed to being when Nebraska basketball makes the Big Ten tournament. And maybe people that are listening are tired of me just continuing to beat this like a dead horse. But it is this conversation of Nebraska needs to win 2 games to make the Big Ten championship. It is not all right, well, Nebraska needs to win 5 games in 5 days as the opponents get better. No, Nebraska is now one of those better opponents. Like, Nebraska is one of those better teams that Northwestern is sitting there going, all right, we got to beat 5 teams in 5 days and then play the Big Ten championship. Like, no, it is Nebraska needs to beat 2 teams that seeding wise, they will be higher. They will be the home team. They need to win 2 games, and then they're playing in the Big Ten championship. It is crazy. Now, what if I would have told you, here's where you get real saucy, that 5 years ago, hey, Nebraska men's basketball will be poised to have a better chance at a Big Ten conference championship than Nebraska football. As Nebraska basketball was going through their 7-win season in 2019, what if I would have told you, hey, Nebraska basketball might be set up better to have a run at a Big Ten championship than Nebraska football?
Yeah, I mean, that would have been surprising. Of course, at the time, too, Frost was going through his 2nd year.
That is true.
So, that still some hope in the program, I suppose, at that time. So, yeah, it would have been shocking. But, I mean, it's even down to, like, this year. Like, nobody predicted this. I think everybody felt like Nebraska basketball under Fred Hoiberg obviously is heading in the right direction right after the last 2 years, 20-win seasons. Thought maybe you could kind of, do that again this year. But to take the turn that it's made now to where it is reality. Like, now listen, I'm not predicting Nebraska to win the Big Ten tournament. I'm not predicting to win the NCAA tournament. They've got to do something they haven't done before, which is beat like 3, even to win the Big Ten tournament. They're going to have to win 3 games against top 15 opponents in a row. They haven't done that this year, right? That's going to be hard. But the point is,
as a Nebraska basketball fan, I was joking about this early in the season, but it's true now. Like, give me Duke. Give me anybody. I'm not.
I don't want Duke. Please don't give us Duke.
Well, I'm just saying.
Please don't give Nebraska
in
Duke.
In general, just
We're
like
good.
I'm not. There's nobody that you pair them up with. I'm not saying they might lose
Sure.
a game by 20.
Sure.
I mean, it can happen to any team. But there's anybody on the schedule when Nebraska's a top 10 team. It's not like there's a huge separation here.
No.
So
No.
it's like at any point, Nebraska, there's not going to be some matchup you get where you go, well, I don't know about that.
Well, I think, okay, so I'm going to go a little bit further and deeper into what you just said about the separation, because I do feel like nationally there might be separation. It feels like 1A, 1B is Duke and Michigan, and then it's everybody else. And when I say everybody else, I mean top 15 teams. Like, I put Nebraska on the same playing field as like a Texas Tech right now. I put Nebraska on the same playing field as obviously a lot of these teams in the Big Ten, Purdue, Illinois, if you will. Michigan State is right in there. It just feels like, and you look at the AP poll, and the AP poll, it's hard to make sometimes the most sense of it. But you look at the AP poll, and you look at like 7 through 13, and it's just like, I could see Nebraska being 8th this week. I could see Nebraska being 12th this week. And obviously they're checking in at number 11. But it just feels like, when we talk about separation as we get to March and as we get to the postseason tournaments, and more so this conversation is scoped into the NCAA tournament. I agree with you, Bach, in that, okay, once, if Nebraska gets past the round of 64 and the round of 32 and they make it to the second weekend, first of all, this place is going to be unhinged that week. Like, if Nebraska wins, and I will say this again, and I stand by this so strong and firm, that this team deserves higher expectations than to just win one game. Like, that's what they deserve. Because I love to have these conversations once again, is if this plays out as simple and as chalk as it can to where Nebraska is a 3 seed in the NCAA tournament, they are expected as a 3 seed to make the second weekend. That's just how it is. They're going to be the higher seed in both the first and the second game. They are expected to win. Now, upsets certainly happen. Nebraska's going to have a lot of pressure on them. I feel like this is the team, though, hopefully for Nebraska to be able to overcome that pressure and not let it affect them against a lesser opponent. But once again, I say this to beat it down, is that this team deserves to have the expectations of, hey, they're at least a round of 32 team, if not a Sweet 16 participant.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, and especially, obviously, all going to wait for Selection Sunday and see what that second round matchup is. Obviously, the first round matchup, like you said, Nebraska's going to be favored regardless. I mean, they lose by 50 in the Big Ten tournament, doesn't matter. They're going to get a good seed and get a good matchup. That second game is going to be interesting though, because if you are a 3 seed, obviously you're playing a 6 seed. I mean, as you know, it's fun to make a run, right? Like, that's the exciting part. Everybody wants to see that, but 16 teams. I mean, there's only going to be 16 teams that are there afterwards. So in that second round, I mean, if you are a 3 team, I mean, you're playing a 6 seed. A 6 seed is a top 25 team, likely.
That's right.
So, I mean, that second round is going to be difficult. It's going to be a big test for Nebraska. There's nothing given there. But so, it is going to be interesting. And I do like that dynamic, that talk too, because it's almost like you kind of have to just kind of separate those expectations. In one hand, it's kind of like the program, and one of it's kind of like the team, right?
Yeah.
Where this team deserves higher expectations, but this program, again, if you've been following it for as long as you have, I have, it's just people. My father passed away a few years ago, and the last game we watched was a Texas A&M game. I mean, he was a Nebraska fan. He raised me a Nebraska fan, right?
Yeah.
He went through, 60 years of not quite seeing them win that game. So there is like this significant, like, big monkey off the back, like, program defining win in that first game.
And I'm not trying to diminish that either.
Right. So it's just interesting to have those conversations, because it is both of those things can kind of exist at the same time.
Because I think it's important for us. Like, I would say this, like, if Nebraska was 20-11, and if they were sitting there at 20-11 and they were playing on day 2 or day 3 of the tournament, and they are not a bubble team, but they're for sure like a 9 or a 10 seed, then we're sitting there going, okay, you know what? Yeah, like, just win the round of 64. But this is consistent now. Like, this is who they are. This is what I think. Also, if you ask them in the locker room, I think that's so much so many times we leave that part out. We go, okay, what's our fan expectation for this? Sure, a team can have a lot of talk about, hey, we want to win the national championship. We have these lofty goals. I think if you genuinely ask them, away from the microphones, away from all of this, Fred always talks about after the game, asking the question in the locker room on the post game, like, are you satisfied? And they're always like, no, right? But I think genuinely you take away all the cameras, all the microphones, and you get to the root of it, and you talk to them about, hey, what are your guys' true beliefs and expectations? I think that internally they truly feel like they are a second weekend type of team. And that's maybe that's not their ceiling, they don't feel like, but I think genuinely and being as realistic as they possibly can be, right? Because there's a lot of teams that at the beginning of the year, they go, all right, yeah, you know what, our goal is to make some noise in March. And then they know maybe in their heart of hearts that there might be a capped off at round of 32, or they might be capped off in the crown, right? I think when you take away all the other extra stuff, they truly do feel like they are good enough to make the second weekend.
Well, and too, like I was saying before, it's only 16 teams that are going to make it. They've been hanging out in the top 16 for a better part of half the season,
which is so crazy to think about.
And then the other half that they were 20-0.
Yes.
So like they've earned this. They've won, and they've beat the, some of the Michigan States, the Illinois. I mean, there's going to be other teams in that category, in that tier that you were kind of talking about earlier too. That why wouldn't you believe that you could do this? And so I mean, it's all going to be out there, and that's the exciting part. Like you're saying too. Like we've done. Okay, it's kind of sad because you can kind of point out the tournament teams since the 90s, right? But there was the one with Tim Miles, and then a couple years ago, and so you're talking about what you were saying, an 8 seed and 11 seed. So the expectation is maybe you can win a game, and then hopefully, and obviously neither of those things happened. But this is kind of the new feeling for a lot of the fan base, unless you're around for the early 90s and that 3 seed, is like they not only can they win the first 2 games, like you said, they're going to be favored to. They're going to be somewhat expected to get to the Sweet 16. Again, we're going to see that matchup. It's going to be interesting. It could be it's going to be a pretty darn good team. It's going to be tough.
Yeah.
But Nebraska can beat tough teams. That's the whole point. It's like, and like I started off saying, maybe it is a little bit silly to say give me Duke, but the point is, like, I'm not like, oh no, that's going to be a loss. Like any game that Nebraska goes out there. Now they've lost by 20 to UCLA. Again, back to that point, it can also fall apart as well. But any opponent that Nebraska faces, and I think a big part of that was going on the road without 2 of your best players and playing Michigan right to the end. That proved, hey, we can play with anybody.
Yeah, I think so too. If we were to take Joe Lunardi's word as gospel, which I highly recommend you don't usually do, Nebraska would be a 3 seed right now in the Oklahoma City Regional. They would be playing UC Irvine, the Anteaters, first off, a 22-10 program, 15-5 in their conference this season. They'd be playing UC Irvine in the first round. They would be matched up with the winner of Louisville versus a winner of a first 4 game. And right now that predicted first 4 game, here's this, Buck. VCU, which always just startles me in March. VCU and Auburn.
Okay.
Auburn would be the last team. Auburn's, according to Lunardi, the last team into the field. The 64th team into the field. I saw a video the other day of Stephen Pearl trying to hype his guys up in the locker room. I'm not sure that guy can motivate me to make a sandwich if I'm hungry.
He's not a motivator.
Anyway.
But Louisville, I mean, that's that point.
Louisville,
they're 24th right now.
Yeah, like Louisville, and you have the basketball name and the brand behind Louisville. Pat Kelsey, as the head coach there, has had a nice couple of years to start his tenure at Louisville. Like, they're going to have to beat, to your point, Bach, they're going to have to beat somebody probably with a notable basketball name in the second round. But yes, don't want to jump the gun. They have to win the first round. They have to win their first match. I get all that.
And VCU is scary. I also
VCU
don't like
is always
pay attention to those mascots. I don't want to face anteaters. That sounds like a March story. I don't want to face anteaters.
But when you're gonna face, okay, so hold on. So like a lot of the 14 seeds, the Troy Trojans, like I'm not trying to. I mean, out of the 13 seeds, or rather the 14 seeds, excuse me, just out of curiosity, Wright State, Hofstra, UC Irvine, or Troy?
I don't know what to look about any.
I don't know any of them. How about a team that I did see? How about this though? Do you remember when Nebraska played in the little makeshift tournament, the MTE at PBA?
Yeah, it was awesome.
They played a team from North Carolina, Queens University.
That's right.
Do you remember this? Queens is projected to make the tournament because they won their conference. They won their conference over Central Arkansas, 98-93. It is their first year that they've been eligible to make the NCAA tournament, and they have made they won their conference tournament, so they are going to be in the NCAA tournament. They're 21-13 this year, but I remember watching that team. Was it last year in 2025, 2024, when Nebraska did that MTE, and it was rough. I mean, they were not good at all. But hey, shout out to Queens University. They're in the tournament. They're projected to play Michigan State in the first round, which doesn't make it great.
It's funny because you go through those names, and that's where it's going to be fun to see the matchups, because no matter what name you throw out there, it's like just because of the tournament.
The best part, 5183 on the text line says Troy lost to West Georgia. Give me Troy. Yeah, by the order of operations, please just give us make it just a clean game for Nebraska. I don't know. I think that when you look at Nebraska, and everybody's going to fill out their bracket, and there's going to be a lot of people nationally that say, that are going to pick against Nebraska because they're going to look at the other 3 seeds, right? Like on Nebraska's line. They're going to look at Iowa State, Purdue, Nebraska, and Alabama. And naturally people are going to look at that 3-14 game and go, all right, who in terms of name recognition, who's going to be the most faulty? Who's going to be the most vulnerable?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's going to say, by just looking at the names, oh, Nebraska's going to be the most vulnerable. It's just going to happen. Nebraska's just got to go out there and beat the narrative.
Well, and again, if you match up with a Louisville or North Carolina or somebody in the second round too, right? And that you're just based on history, people are going to feel more comfortable picking those teams, those names. And so it's interesting, but that's part of the battle Nebraska has to do, not just because of their history as a program. And that was, pointed out often, but I thought what was overlooked for Nebraska not getting enough credit either was the fact that they weren't a tournament team last year. Like, this is an incredible story. But I understand why there is going to be doubt as you climb up the rankings, as you climb up into kind of new tiers, because of not just the long history, but last year's history.
Yeah. Brad from Baldwin says, I'm taking them to the Final Four. Show me the money.
Could happen.
Hey, could it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. That's the point of the whole conversation, isn't it?
It is. Let's take a break. I want to get to the actual basketball now, because this has been a fun hypothetical conversation, but none of it matters unless Nebraska's playing well on the floor. I talked about it in the last segment a little bit. Nebraska started the season so strong and they were playing so well. And I think a lot of people had the concern of, okay, is this Nebraska peaking at the wrong time? And then Nebraska goes, I don't want to say they had a bad stretch, but they maybe struggled a little bit more playing a full 40 minutes of basketball. And then, Nebraska these last couple of weeks, USC was a decent game. Iowa was a good performance for the most part. How confident are fans right now in the basketball Nebraska's playing on the floor? Are they playing their best basketball right now at the right time? Are other teams? We'll talk about that in depth as we continue the 10 o'clock hour. He's Jake Bachhoven. I'm Nick Stainer. We'll be right back on The Drive, 93.7 The Ticket.
There's no place like McKinney's Irish Pub for St. Patrick's Day, so mark your calendars to join in on the fun for their 12th annual street festival. The party goes all weekend long, but starts on March 14th and 15th with tons of giveaways, great Irish food, and green beer. And it continues on Tuesday the 17th for actual St. Patrick's Day. Doors open for the bar at 9 a.m. on Saturday, 11 a.m. on Sunday, and 9 a.m. on Tuesday. And the street party starts at 2 p.m. all 3 days. Don't miss out on great music and great fun with no cover charge for St. Patrick's Day weekend at McKinney's Irish Pub, located at 8th and P.
Spring storms happen, but LES line workers are ready. While they're out in the weather, you can stay inside and still lend a hand by reporting your outage at les.com/report.
Make your next event unforgettable with Grazing Gouda, your local artists and experts in charcuterie and grazed tables. From boardrooms to ballrooms, they turn gatherings into experiences with stunning spreads of artesian cheeses, cured meats, fresh fruits, and gourmet bites. Perfect for corporate luncheons, weddings, parties, or any celebration that deserves a wow moment. They handle the details. You take the compliments. Book your graze table today at GrazingGouda.com. Grazing Gouda, because every event deserves to be savored.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
In a world where Wi-Fi battles rage and bandwidth is never enough, one family dares to connect it all. Work from home, influence all day, stream all night, and game to win. Deadlines, downloads, and dance-offs, all happening under one roof, flawlessly. Can your internet provider do that? Fiber fuel your household at allofiber.com/all-in.
Spring Sports are here, and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine. Hey guys, it's Nick Sainer. Join me and the rest of the 93.7 The Ticket crew as we bring you live coverage of the 2026 NSAA Boys State Basketball Tournament from Pinnacle Bank Arena. The action tips off Wednesday, March 11th. If it's being played at Pinnacle Bank Arena, it's heard on The Ticket, Class A to Class D2 all week long. Join us March 11th through March 14th as we crown 6 state champions at the 2026 NSAA Boys State Basketball Tournament right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Lincoln's go-to for fun isn't new. It's a place that's been a staple of the city for years and is only getting better. Matson's Bowling and Billiards always has open bowling available with no long lines, unlike other centers. They have live music almost every weekend and great food at EJ's Bar and Lounge, with seating for 150 people. They have popular meals like the EJ Burger, pizza for the whole family, and famous EJ's Wings. Contact Sarah to book a party for friends, coworkers, or family at Matson's Bowling and Billiards, just south of 48th and Holdridge.
Your cure for spring fever is at the Husker Lawn and Leisure Show, March 13th through the 15th at the Sandhills Global Event Center. See unique home and landscape displays. Admission $8. Veterans free on Friday. Hours and info at HuskerLawnShow.com. Sponsored by South O Roofing.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and right now at Koppel, we are offering big discounts on all of our inventory. 2026 GMC Terrains are leasing at $279 per month or buy for $27,690. 2026 Canyon is leasing for $269 or buy for $40,980. Also right now, all new Equinox EVs and all half-ton trucks are starting at $12,000 off MSRP. These are just a few examples of some of the aggressive pricing going on right now at Koppel. Please stop on in or check us out at KoppelCars.com. All leases with $2,500 down with a roof credit.
Tune in to Outside the Box from 4 to 5 p.m. for everything you need to know about the Lincoln Stars. Join head coach Rocky Russo and play-by-play voice Alex Verne as they sit down with special player guests to tell the story of the Lincoln Stars and give you all the news and notes you need from around the USHL. That's Outside the Box with the Lincoln Stars on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Concrete Industries has immediate job openings for precast production laborers and maintenance technicians. Concrete Industries offers great pay, health benefits, 401k, a wellness program, holidays, and paid time off. Apply today to earn a starting pay of $21.50 per hour plus a $1,500 hiring bonus. Concrete Industries is hiring all experience levels and offers on-the-job training. Start your career today as a precast production laborer or maintenance technician. Visit concreteindustries.com.
Your cure for spring fever is at the Husker Lawn and Leisure Show, March 13th through the 15th at the Sandhills Global Event Center. See unique home and landscape displays. Admission $8. Veterans free on Friday. Hours and info at HuskerLawnShow.com. Sponsored by South O Roofing.
Hey guys, it's Nick Sainer. Join me and the rest of the 93.7 The Ticket crew as we bring you live coverage of the 2026 NSAA Boys State Basketball Tournament from Pinnacle Bank Arena. The action tips off Wednesday, March 11th. If it's being played at Pinnacle Bank Arena, it's heard on The Ticket, Class A to Class D2 all week long. Join us March 11th through March 14th as we crown 6 state champions at the 2026 NSAA Boys State Basketball Tournament right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Now back to The Drive with Aaron Davis and Nick Sainert on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into The Drive, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick Sainert alongside Jake Bachhoven as we continue breaking down Nebraska's big basketball week ahead as the Huskers get ready. Don't know who they're playing yet, but they're in a very advantageous position to where they're going to be able to get to watch a lot of basketball over the next couple of days together. And for Nebraska basketball, I mean, obviously you would predict, I would imagine that you'll see Purdue on Friday, who is the 7th seed. Bach, let me ask you with this right off the bat. Does that matchup startle you?
Obviously a little bit because they in the the matchup that Purdue was able to win. Obviously that came down to the end, but they had a big lead in that game.
They did.
I guess I just don't want to see Oscar Clough go off again.
Yeah.
But Drake Hoffman, Ren too is kind of interesting because he had like I was like over exaggerating, but it really was like 18 rebounds, something like that. But he didn't really get going in that game, so he can provide a little bit more of a spark. Fletcher Loyer, even though in that game did score some points, could shoot better.
He went 4 for 17 from 3.
Right. So I mean, I don't even know if you got the best look at Purdue and they were still.
But is that Purdue?
But yeah,
we can also, not to get too caught up in the name, right? Like that could just also be Purdue.
Yeah, or credit to Nebraska for their defense.
Yeah, and that was such a big part on Saturday or Sunday, excuse me. The one thing I will say about the Bennett Sturts conversation, as it's blown up across social media, the one thing I will say about the Bennett Sturts stuff is, as much as I love Steve Sipple, Jamarcus Lawrence shut down Bennett Sturts. Like that is Nate Lenzer at his best. And if we're not recognizing that by now, we need to recognize Nate Lenzer. And I think I will say this, like my first thought, and unfortunately this is a question for maybe Fred at the end of the year, because we're not going to ask him about coaching contracts and stuff in the middle of the season. But my number one priority, if I am Fred Hoiberg, is how in the world for the next 6 years that I'm scheduled to be here, how do I assure myself that Nate Lenzer is right by my side? Because Nate Lenzer has been such a massive piece of this. And for honestly, the entire staff, like from top to bottom. We're talking, when we go down the list of Nate Lenzer, Ernie Ziegler, Pat Monahan, Luca Virgilio as the GM now. I don't want to miss any. Kurt Joseph as the strength and conditioning coach. Peyton Borders as the recruiting coordinator. Like you go up and down that entire list, and for the foreseeable future, this is the staff that Fred Hoiberg needs. Like, because they have a chance as a collective unit to deliver something to Nebraska that has never been done. And that's where we're at, Bach.
Yeah, and it is interesting, when you look back at how much can a assistance, and we obviously know that we talk about this more in football than in basketball, but sometimes it's very important, obviously, when you look at kind of the success that Fred Hoiberg had at Iowa State, and maybe why it didn't take off so quickly here at Nebraska, is he had TJ Otzelberger on staff. Along with what was it, Matt Abdelmassi and Doc Sadler. And so obviously when you come over to Nebraska, you don't bring Otzelberger. Now we have seen over the last couple of years how big that probably was, right? And so, it does, it takes some time to kind of maybe find the right guys when you're having to rebuild that staff. So to your point, I mean, what you want when you have it fully loaded and ready to roll is to keep it going. But that's when it's tough, right? I mean, that's where the big kind of the better coaches can separate is when you can identify that talent and bring in somebody else. Hopefully won't have to, but when you're top 15, there might be some people calling.
But then, and I certainly am not ready or want to have this conversation of the succession plan yet. Right.
No need for that.
But there's also something to be said about, guess what? As Fred Hoiberg does continue to get older and age and get towards the back end of his coaching career, whenever that is, right? It's also good to say, hey, you know what? There's a tree that whether it's guys that have left and had success elsewhere, but they were initially at Nebraska, or guys that are still on the staff, like a TJ Otzelberger, like you mentioned, like you can talk about TJ Otzelberger left Iowa State for a couple of years and then went back, right? Like it's one of those things to where when we talk about, and this is so far down the road, I was not even planning to discuss this. When we talk about succession plan when that time comes, like who are some of the names that could pop up? And I think a lot of people do look at what Nate Lenzer's been able to do and say, okay, yeah, you know what? This is a guy that has been in the professional landscape, right? And obviously has had a plethora of success at the college level with Nebraska defensively that, who knows what the future can hold. So back to more pertinent subjects. Bach, let me ask you a very generalized question, let you run wild with it. Is Nebraska playing their best basketball right now?
I wouldn't say their best basketball, but back to your Purdue question, I'll get right back. They've lost 4 of their 6, last 6. So not everybody is playing their best basketball. You got to be able to turn it on here at the end here. And so I mean, it's almost impossible to say that, right? I mean, Nebraska's lost their last couple matchups against top 25 opponents. In fact, they've lost their last 3. They were able to win 5 of their last 7 games here, but that's against unranked opponents. So you've dropped 2 to unranked opponents there as well in the last 7. So no, I mean, I don't think they're necessarily playing their best basketball, but can they get back to that? I think that's still possible, right?
Yeah.
And so that's what you hope is they're able to kind of turn it on here, and maybe that Iowa game can kind of spark it, because I'll tell you what, when you talk about, obviously that was a close game, could have won it in regulation a lot easier, all that sort of stuff. So it wasn't perfect, but it did really, what has been a big problem, I think, as of late, is having kind of those other role players kind of step up when maybe Sanford's not going off for 28, 30 points, right? They've become a little bit too dependent on Sanford scoring. And Jacobson comes in, scores 15 off the bench this past game. Now, I'm not expecting that every game, but if you can get some punch from him and Frager off the bench, even Garcia for the 5 minutes that he played, you'll take that. And so whatever role that might be for those guys. And then you hope that Rienk Mast is kind of getting back into it, hit a couple threes there. Certainly, it's hard to feel like he is still playing at his kind of front of the season form, but maybe trying to get back into it. I think Berkey's really done well in his role, and kind of, from especially, I think he's playing better than he was earlier in the season. Now that his role's a little bit more defined. Lawrence still struggling a little bit with the shot since the ankle injury, but like you said, defensively did pretty darn good. Has still led the team as far as assists. The turnover ratio the last several games, even post that injury, pretty well. So, I think it's all still there. I wouldn't. So I think potentially they can turn it on. It's not like they're playing bad basketball.
Yeah.
But again, within their last 2 games, they got blown out by UCLA by 20 points. So
That's true.
It's hard to say they're playing their best basketball.
I do think that there's something to be said about Nebraska's had to adjust to how guys have maybe changed playing. Rink mass is the low hanging fruit. We'll use rink in this conversation because rink mass still provides a crazy amount of value to this team.
Oh yeah.
I do think it has evolved and not for, I say evolve instead of change because change, there's a negative connotation that's attached to it usually when we're talking about in this scope of basketball and guys changing the way they play. I would say evolve because Rink's inability maybe at times to provide what he used to have and used to provide on a consistent basis for Nebraska is not as great maybe on the floor. There's still a very valuable role for Rink and there's still a glimmer where when he can turn it on if needed. We saw him hit a couple of perimeter shots against Iowa. Obviously the knee must not be bothering him too much right now. I also, and why I say evolve is because it has forced other guys, Cale Jacobson, Braden Frager to a certain extent, and it's going to rely and force Berke. I'm going to throw Jared Garcia into this conversation. It is going to force those guys to step up. Like that's just at the end of the day, that's what Nebraska's going to need. The evolution of this team is that it's going to take every single player, and maybe some games it'll be Berke that needs to step up more. Against USC, it was Berke. Against Iowa, it was Cale. Against other teams, we've seen Sam. Like we don't know going into each game who it's going to be. The one thing we do know is that every guy's got to be ready to take the torch if needed. And so, as Nebraska's changed and evolved, if all of this makes sense. I don't necessarily know if they're playing worse. I think they've just changed and learned more about how they need to play going forward.
Yeah, and I think too, I mean, part of it is when you're at this point too, like you're well scouted. I mean, at the beginning of the season, right? It's kind of like, okay, how are these pieces going to work together when you're the opposing team? Now it's pretty well known kind of what Nebraska is and how to guard them, right? And but the same can be said about any other team. But it just, you're not gonna catch anybody by surprise. But that is, I mean, these guys are gonna have to step up, and I don't feel like it's it was happening so well, right, early in the season. And, but that's why the Iowa game was so encouraging because I think everybody played pretty well. Could have certain guys, Frager's played better? Sure. I mean, there's certain guys that could have played better, but
Nebraska's not also the only team that goes through this. Like, I think this is, we are so accustomed as Nebraska fans and folks that just pay hyper focus to this program time and time again. We are so much in our bubble. And I think like the thing I've been trying to harp on time after time after time this season as Nebraska's gone through this historic run is that at the end of the day, like you have to get outside your bubble of Nebraska athletics and Nebraska basketball and recognize, not realize, but recognize that, hey, there's a lot of teams that as they go through March are very different than what they were back in November, right? And are very different than December. And that's what good coaching does is and this is once again, we talk about the staff and how valuable it is. You go back time and time again to their ability to morph and to change and to adjust, not only in the very hyper microscope of a first half to a second half, but hey, even when you're 20-0 or even when you're 15-0, what are things that are going to maybe pop up on the radar 10 games from that point that you can maybe get out in front of? And you're not going to shoot 100%. Like you're not going to hit on 100% of things. I think if Fred Hoiberg, you talk to him, maybe there's some guys that they missed on, right? Or maybe that they brought in that they should have maybe identified a little bit differently in the off season. But ultimately, when it's all said and done, sure, like this team has been historic and it needs to be talked about for a very long time. But also, Nebraska's not the only ones that we're sitting here saying, on March 10th before the conference tournament starts, saying, hey, you know what? Maybe Nebraska's not playing their best basketball right now, but I still have confidence in them going out to beat 90% of the country. And that's an okay thing to say because there's a lot of teams that are saying that too.
Well, and I think the best part too, and Fred was kind of pointing this out, the last couple of weeks is like, it's just such a good group. You're not going to lose. And I think this is, part of the frustration with football over the years too. And not to say that there's not effort there, but you're not going to lose from a lack of effort or putting a competitive team out there, right?
Yeah.
I mean, again, the UCLA thing can happen. That can happen to any team. That's basketball. Sometimes you just can't get the ball to go in the hoop. So, I mean, that can happen. But I guess the thing is too, is like, they're not going to lose from a lack of try, want to, hard hustle, all that sort of stuff. So you can die on your shield there. They're also like, even if they fall behind by 15 points, they can come back. I mean, we've seen kind of the halftime adjustments, all that sort of stuff. A good 3-point shooting team, they can come back. So it's just I just feel like, yeah, maybe they're not at their full strength. We'll see, though. I mean, they can change that narrative pretty quickly in the Big Ten tournament
100%.
because, like I said, if they win those 3 games or even 2 out of the 3 to get to the Big Ten tournament, you're going to have to beat some pretty darn good teams. And that's what I think would really help. I don't know. It's kind of weird, but I don't know if they have to win the Big Ten tournament. Of course, it would be a great story, a lot of fun. We'd remember it forever, all that sort of stuff. But for me to feel a little bit more excited going into the NCAA tournament, we're at peak, right? It's already there. But to feel a little more confident is if they could just win one in the Big Ten tournament, at least to get kind of back into, hey, we've recently beaten one of these top dogs.
Let's go to the text line, 464-5685, Honda Lincoln Hotline, the Starter Heyman text line open for you guys the rest of the way here as we get ready to close out the 10 o'clock hour. Corey and Lincoln, to your point, and you mentioned this earlier, Bach. Corey and Lincoln says Purdue 2-4 in their last 6, and they're routinely getting 90 points dropped on them. Nebraska shouldn't be afraid of them. Brad from Baldwin says, don't forget Frager as a potential X factor going forward. That's the other part, right? Like Braden Frager, first off, cut the negativity. Like I am so tired of this, of popping on social media. And I understand that's just like, this is who social media is. I'm so tired of seeing this, like, get Frager out of the program. He's going to sit on the bench away from the team. Like, I'm so tired of seeing that. Like, please be better than that. Also, Nebraska's best version of themselves is when Braden Frager is a part of this roster. I stand by that. And if you need any proof of that matter, go back to December. Prior to the ankle injury, when Braden Frager burst onto the scenes and you talked about the scouting piece of it, the book is now put a little more out on Braden Frager. And so teams are just naturally, when you're playing, hey, top 25, top 30 teams in the country routinely, they're going to be able to adjust the same way Nebraska adjusted to Bennett Sturts from game 1 in Iowa City to game 2 in Lincoln. Like, the book is out, right? And it's a freshman going through freshman struggles. That's just all it is. We don't need to make a bigger deal about it than it is. Nebraska, in my mind, is at their best when Braden Frager is there, right? So yeah, Brad from Baldwin, absolutely. If you talk about, like, if you told me that, hey, Nick, in the postseason, whether it's the Big Ten tournament or it's the NCAA tournament, off of the bench in whatever, I think you played 17 minutes on Sunday against Iowa. In 18 minutes of time, Braden Frager is going to be, I don't want to say vintage, December Braden Frager. Guess what? I'm saying, okay, Nebraska is making some serious noise in March. Well, just because that's what we saw in December. That when Nebraska's the best version of themselves, it is Braden Frager doing that.
I mean, he is a talent that brings something that Nebraska doesn't otherwise have. I mean, you've got guys that can still kind of get to the hoop, right? Price Sanford's been pretty good at that at times, but he's just, especially for off the bench scoring punch, possibility of, driving, getting fouls, fast break, especially. Yeah. They don't have a threat like him coming in. So, he just gives them something so unique, so different to what they otherwise have. Now, can he be an X factor either way? Yeah. I mean, like you said, he plays some freshman ball, sometimes can make some mistakes. And at this point is pretty well scouted and known that he's going to be a key to any game. If you're going to beat Nebraska, that might, you want to limit Price and all these other stuff, but if you can limit their punch off the bench from Frager, that puts you in a way better position. So, I mean, they're still you can say one thing about his struggles and maybe when he's kind of a little down, maybe he drags down the team a little bit more than others do when they're down. But his ceiling, and when he's playing well, it just lifts Nebraska up so much higher than in their potential.
100%. We are up for the commercial break here on the ticket. Once again, he's Jake Bachov and I'm Nick Sainert. No AD today. AD will be back as we are getting ready to call state boys basketball tomorrow through Saturday, essentially, on the airwaves. Plenty of Husker basketball coverage your way as well. And we appreciate you guys supporting high school sports here on the ticket. So with that being said, let's round out the show when we come back. There's a couple of more questions that I want to get to on our text line, especially from Derek and Akar, talking about recruiting and things like that. As we approach the offseason, that's certainly going to be a conversation piece. It's important to enjoy the current time that we're in with Big Ten basketball and NCAA tournament, but also we can have these forward-thinking conversations and hypothetical discussions in the very near future. Let's talk about that. Round out the show when we come back here on The Drive. 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com.
Concrete Industries has immediate job openings for precast production laborers and maintenance technicians. Concrete Industries offers great pay, health benefits, 401k, a wellness program, holidays, and paid time off. Apply today to earn a starting pay of $21.50 per hour plus a $1,500 hiring bonus. Concrete Industries is hiring all experience levels and offers on-the-job training. Start your career today as a precast production laborer or maintenance technician. Visit concreteindustries.com.
Spring storms happen, but LES line workers are ready. While they're out in the weather, you can stay inside and still lend a hand by reporting your outage at les.com/report.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see mainly sunny skies and it will be breezy. In the afternoon, high around 65. Tonight, a chance of rain showers, otherwise partly cloudy, a low around 36. And tomorrow, we'll see decreasing clouds throughout the day. It'll be breezy. In the afternoon, high near 53. I'm meteorologist Kyle Klecker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Where there's smoke, there's flavor, and there's plenty of it at the Smokehouse at Super Savor and Russ's Market. Award-winning old world recipes made in Lincoln since 1984 with many flavors of smoked sausage and brats to choose from. The Smokehouse has something special for every season: brats and sausages for the grill, beef sticks and beef jerky for snacking, and smoked salmon, smoked turkey, or smoked hams for your holiday feast. Stop by the Smokehouse at Super Savor and Russ's Market today to fulfill your search for real flavor.
Noticing more dust at home? It may be time for duct cleaning from Bryant. Breathe easy and healthy. Call 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
In a world where Wi-Fi battles rage and bandwidth is never enough, one family dares to connect it all. Work from home, influence all day, stream all night, and game to win. Deadlines, downloads, and dance-offs, all happening under one roof, flawlessly. Can your internet provider do that? Fiber fuel your household at allofiber.com/all-in.
At Planet Fitness, we're getting strong for the season's biggest games. Join now and your first month is free. Whether you're chasing a buzzer beater or your everyday goals, we've got next level amenities like red light recovery and hydro massage to help you rebound and recover. Plus, with the PF Black Card, you can bring a friend anytime and access over 2,800 locations. Join now for $1 down, $24.99 a month, and get your first month free. No commitment. Deal ends Friday, March 13th. Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet.
At Schwiezo Construction, safety isn't just a policy, it's a promise. Build with us. Work safe, go home proud. We're hiring skilled craftsmen, laborers, concrete workers, and steel erectors who value quality work and a team that has your back, on and off the job site. If you're ready to be part of a company where your safety and success come first, visit Schwiezo.com. That's SCHWISOW.com and apply today. Schwiezo Construction, 40 years strong and still building the future.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Hey guys, it's Nick Sainer. Join me and the rest of the 93.7 The Ticket crew as we bring you live coverage of the 2026 NSAA Boys State Basketball Tournament from Pinnacle Bank Arena. The action tips off Wednesday, March 11th. If it's being played at Pinnacle Bank Arena, it's heard on The Ticket, Class A to Class D2 all week long. Join us March 11th through March 14th as we crown 6 state champions at the 2026 NSAA Boys State Basketball Tournament right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Nutrition Authority invites you to check out the top-selling Epic Effects. Epic Effects is designed to help blast body fat, curb cravings, and provide smooth energy so you can cruise through the day. Home of free samples and better than internet pricing, Epic Effects can only be found in Nutrition Authority. For store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
In every office, there's 2 types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday. You lost Wednesday. You're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe. Now back to the drive with Aaron Davis and Nick Sainert on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, so starting in the Big Ten tournament today as it gets underway this afternoon, you can watch both of these games on Peacock. 4 o'clock, it is Maryland against Oregon, and then 6:30 p.m., Penn State against Northwestern. How about that? What if you would, a random basketball player I thought about the other day,
Who's
Bach,
that?
from Maryland? Any guesses?
Melo Trimble?
Yes.
That's a great one.
Melo
yeah.
Trimble.
Think about him often.
I do. I have. That team with Tremble and what was it, like Herder was on that team?
Oh, yeah.
Was Layman on that team at that time? Or was he a couple years later?
He was so good with them, too. Yeah, that's tough to remember. Like Diamond Stone was kind of in that
Diamond
era.
Stone?
Yeah,
That's
some
right.
good players in that era.
There was.
It's weird to see Maryland where they are. It
Very.
is,
I also am very much of the belief of, well, they're number one, they're really young. Number 2 is give Buzz a couple of years.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see what happens there. Yeah, that whole situation. It's weird to see Oregon as low as they are.
Yeah.
Right? Like, what happens with Dana this year?
Yeah.
I mean, goodness sakes, you just wonder what the future looks like for those 2 teams.
Penn State Northwestern, it's not weird. That's about where they are.
What do you think the outlook for Chris Collins is?
I don't know. I mean, because he's had some success there, but I don't know if it's just that Northwest, maybe it's the same like with Pat Fitzgerald over the years, where it's like when they had good seasons, like awesome, this is a great job of coaching. When they have bad seasons, just like, well, it's Northwestern.
I mean, gosh dang, I think, I mean, I go back to like Boo Buie, and I mean, I put Nick Martinelli in the conversation of same caliber of player as Boo Buie was, and Boo Buie took them to the NCAA tournament, and won their first game in school history, and this, that, and the third. Just Martinelli wasn't able to. And yeah, I do wonder. I mean, Chris Collins, Northwestern guy, and he was the Duke assistant for a while and stuff. And so I do wonder what the outlook for a guy like Chris Collins is. Mike Rhodes at Penn State, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So
it's interesting. They stuck with him, and sometimes you won't do it a second round. But so he had the 24-win season in 2016.
Yeah.
And then really didn't have a winning season back until 2022. Then had back-to-back 20-win seasons. Then these last couple of seasons has fallen off. So again, you just wonder. I mean, you're probably right, though. I mean, they might be interested in making a move. Move soon.
We'll see what happens. That'll do it for us here on the show. As always, I do want to express gratitude off the bat in advance for everybody hanging on and hanging out throughout boys state basketball that starts tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Obviously, myself, Jay Foreman, will be on the call for those. Austin Norman's been helping out a ton. Tristan Gomez as well. Can't thank those guys enough. You might hear some Thomas Villianco on the airwaves as well this weekend. Throughout some of the various games and contests. It's going to be a great weekend of state basketball, great weekend of just athletics in general. We'll have plenty of coverage, though. Also, make sure you stay tuned in between games. Bach and the rest of the crew will have plenty of coverage on 93.7 The Ticket here from Husker Basketball. We'll still have our usual Husker Basketball post-game show following Nebraska and whoever they play on Friday evening at 5:30 p.m. We'll have plenty of just coverage throughout the year, throughout the week and weekend
and leading up to Selection Sunday. I'll say this, what a fun day Sunday could be if Nebraska basketball is still playing and the selection show on Sunday night. I mean, what a fun opportunity. Just enjoy it. That's what I'll just continue to say here as we close out the show. But Bach, appreciate you as always.
Absolutely.
For hanging out with me. Thank you to Jay Foreman for joining the first hour. AD had a speaking engagement today. He is back on Monday when we will have normal programming on Monday, and we will know Nebraska's fate for the NCAA tournament and where they're going to go, who they're going to play, how they played in the Big Ten tournament. We'll have so much stuff coming your way over the next couple of weeks from the NCAA tournament coverage. We're excited. March is here. Nebraska's in the thick of it. Enjoy it, Husker fans. For Jake Bachhoven, Jay Foreman, thanks to everybody for tuning in. Thanks to all the folks texting on the text line and on the YouTube stream. Appreciate you guys as always. Next time I talk to you, 9 a.m. from Pinnacle Bank Arena, as we will get state basketball started on the airwaves tomorrow, 9 a.m. But stick around. The shows continue next year on 93.7 The Ticket.
Take your operation to the next level. Right now at Landmark